Welcome guys to another video. Just recently I decided to head out to the city and take some cool night pictures. I want to share a little bit the results with you and give you my personal opinion on my own photographs. So let's go. I used Ektachrome 100 and my Canon AE-1. I loaded up my film and went out shooting. So this is one of my first pictures of the night. It's not one of my best pictures of that shooting, but I think it's still pretty good. I really like the colors of the light, that they're a little bit yellowish, and I really like the red lights reflecting onto the road next to the sidewalk. There's not a lot to say about this picture. I think it's a pretty decent picture, but it's also pretty simple and not that exciting, so we are gonna move on to the next one. So this is one of my favorite pictures of the shooting. I went to the park and there I saw this street light which just illuminating one specific spot in the park, and all the surroundings are pitch black or pretty dark, and yeah, it's one of my favorite shots of that night. I really like this picture too for the same reasons with the street light and all, but I still think that the picture before was still better. I think here it's still the camera quality and my composition which ruin a little bit the vibe of the photograph, but I still think it's a pretty decent photograph, but compared to the other one it's not as good. For my next pictures I went to a parking lot, and there we have basically again my same motivation. It's this one single street light illuminating only one or two cars. Here we have the front of this black car and this white van. I think it looks pretty nice with only the two cars basically in focus, and all the surroundings are pretty dark. It creates a pretty nice vibe, I think, and it's a good picture. It's also one of my favorite of the shooting. So this picture, and goes to the same for the next one I'm going to show you, were also pictures I took in that parking lot. They are by far not that interesting, not that well composed, and not that well edited like my picture before. And yeah, they are still also pretty decent pictures, because I also had a lot of bad pictures, but I didn't even take these photographs in to the videos, so yeah, you're only going to see the good and decent ones. But yeah, I think this is a decent one. It's not the best of the evening, clearly. Let me know your opinion on it, but I think the one from before was better than these two. Picture of the parking lot that I like significantly more is this picture of this red car. I think for considering editing, I did a pretty decent job. What I like most about this picture is mainly my composition of having this red car taking most of the frame, and still having these street lights with the shape of stars. So I think it looks pretty good. It's definitely one of my favorite pictures of the shooting that night. So this is a picture of a tram station, and what I like about this picture most, I also think it's one of the better pictures of that night. I really like the lights and how I edited it, and also one of my favorite parts about the picture is clearly the composition with these two tracks being exactly in the middle. So I have really mixed feelings about this photograph. I really didn't know if it was going to be an interesting photograph at the end or not. And actually I'm still struggling now if I want to label it as a good photograph or as a bad photograph. So give me your opinion on it. I personally like it and I personally don't like it. What I really like about it are the colors. What I don't like about it is composition and light. On the other hand, I still think just because of the colors, it's a pretty decent, a pretty good picture. But yeah, like I said, I have pretty mixed feelings about this photograph. This is another picture of a tram station. I like the one from before better. I think this one is still pretty okay, but it's definitely not one of my favorite shots of that evening. But I think it works out pretty fine. I took this picture more on the go, so I didn't expect anything serious. So I guess it's fine and we can move on to the next one. So this was basically my last shot of the night. I think it's a pretty good one. It's one of the better ones of that night. I think I did a pretty good job while editing it. And I think also that composition and lighting are pretty good. I was a little bit worried that it would be overexposed, but it turned out to be just fine. And yeah, I think this one's the one with the red car in the parking lot, the one with the white van in the parking lot, the one with the street light in the park are my probably best pictures of that evening or of that nightly photo walk. I think I'm not totally amazed by all the shots. There are clearly some shots that were not as good as others, but in total I'm pretty grateful and pretty happy with the result. So after this picture, I took my camera, I took the film out, brought it the next day into the lab, and I waited for a couple of days. They came back. I hope you guys liked the results and let me know in the comments if I should continue making videos in this format in which I talk and explain my pictures and my thoughts behind